This creepy story was found on Reddit. I grew up in a small town, in a house that was old but not creepy. At least, not at first. My parents did their best to make it feel safe. Posters on the wall, a nightlight that glowed a softer blue, even a stuffed bear named Charlie to guard me at night. I was 8 when it started. I remember that age because my mum had just redone my room with fresh paint and new curtains. Everything was supposed to feel bright and new. But there was always a dark patch of shadow beneath my bed, no matter how many times I peeked underneath with a flashlight. At first, I thought it was just the way the light hit, or maybe some boxes piled up under there. One night, I dropped my favorite book, and it slid under the bed. I crouched down, arms stretched, fingers groping in the gloom. That's when I heard it. A soft, wet rustling like someone dragging their palm over damp carpet. The hair on my arm stood straight up. My fingers brushed something that wasn't my book, wasn't soft or fuzzy. It was cold, slick, and moved ever so slightly against my touch. I jerked my arm back so hard I scraped my knuckles on the frame. I remember telling myself it was just my imagination, but after that night, I never dared let my feet hang over the edge of the mattress again. At first, I tried to ignore it. Kids are good at lying to themselves. But it didn't stop. Every night, just as I was about to drift off, I'd hear that same rustling from under the bed. Sometimes it was followed by a faint, slow breathing, as if something was just waiting, listening. I tried telling my parents, but they just chalked it up to childhood fears. Monsters under the bed. Every kid has them, right? But there was more. Small things started disappearing from my room. A sock, a toy car, a pencil. I'd find them days later, pushed right up against the wall under my bed, almost as if they'd been dragged there. One morning, I found muddy fingerprints on my sheets, small, as if a child had left them. I showed my mum, but she just sighed and said I'd tracked dirt in from the yard. I started sleeping curled in the center of my bed, limbs tucked tight, terrified to let any part of myself dangle over the edge. It was a stormy night in October, the kind of night where wind rattles the window panes and thunder rattles the whole house. I woke up just past midnight, needing to use the bathroom. I slid out of bed, careful not to look underneath, and shuffled across the hall. When I came back, my nightlight was off. My room was pitch black, except for the occasional flash of lightning. I climbed into bed as fast as I could, pulling the covers up to my chin, and then I heard it, a scraping, like fingernails on wood. The hairs on my arms prickled. I couldn't help it. I looked down just in time to see something slip back under my bed. It was pale, almost grey, with long, thin fingers that bent in too many places. I saw a glimpse of greasy hair, matted and black, and 2 eyes, huge, yellowish, and shining in the darkness. It moved with a horrible jerking crawl, twisting itself to vanish into the shadows beneath me. I screamed for my parents. They came running, turned on the lights, searched under the bed, but found nothing. I was shaking so badly I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. My parents tried everything after that, letting me sleep in their room, buying me a new nightlight, even rearranging the furniture. Nothing helped. Every time I slept in my own bed, I felt it watching me from the darkness beneath. Sometimes, just as I was about to drift off, I'd feel the mattress shift, a subtle dip, like something heavy was pushing up from below. Once I woke up to find long, greasy strands of black hair tangled around my blanket. I wanted to believe it was from my sister or maybe the family dog. But deep down, I knew the truth. My grades started slipping. I became withdrawn at school. No one believed me. Not my parents, not my teachers. Kids teased me for being afraid of the dark. But I wasn't afraid of the dark. I was afraid of what was hiding in it. One night, everything changed. I'd been trying to convince myself it was over, that maybe whatever lived under my bed had moved on. I stayed up late reading with a flashlight, fighting sleep. Suddenly, the batteries died. The room plunged into darkness. That's when I heard the scraping again, louder than ever, accompanied by a slow, guttural breathing. Frozen, I stared at the edge of my bed. A hand, a pale, bony hand, emerged from the darkness, its fingers impossibly long and jointed wrong like a spider's legs. It clamped around my ankle with icy force. I tried to scream, but nothing came out. The hand yanked hard, dragging me half off the bed. I kicked and thrashed, finally breaking free and tumbling onto the floor, face to face with the thing under my bed. Its body was too thin, limbs stretched and twisted, skin clinging tight to bone. Its face was an obscene parody of a person, with the sunken eyes that gleamed in the dark and a mouth stretched wide, grinning. It hissed, a wet, guttural sound, then retreated under the bed with inhuman speed. My parents rushed in, but again, nothing. Not a trace. After that, I refused to sleep in that room again. My parents agreed to let me move to my sister's old room. For a while, things were quiet. No noises, no missing items, no muddy handprints. I started to think maybe it was gone. Maybe I'd left it behind. But monsters, it turns out, don't care about walls or doors. A month later, as I was cleaning under my new bed, I found one of my old socks, one that had disappeared months earlier, and next to it, a handful of long, greasy black hairs. That night, I woke up to the familiar scraping and a voice, high-pitched and whispering, from beneath the bed. "I found you." I ran to my parents' room, sobbing. They tried to calm me, but nothing could erase the image of that face, those yellow eyes. My family called in a priest. He sprinkled holy water, said prayers, burned incense. For a few weeks, things were calm. But deep down, I knew it wasn't enough. I started sleeping with the lights on, barricading my bed with stuffed animals, even setting up a line of salt around the frame, something I'd seen in a movie. Sometimes I'd wake up and find the line broken, salt scattered across the floor, and new muddy fingerprints on the wood. It wanted me to know it was still there. Eventually, my parents made the decision to move. They never admitted it was because of what I'd told them, but I saw the fear in my mum's eyes every time she changed my sheets and found those greasy hairs, or when she heard me scream at night. We packed up and left that house behind. For a long time, I didn't dare look under any bed, in any room. The nightmares faded, but never truly left. I'm older now, living in a city apartment on the 3rd floor. I tell myself the thing under my bed is long gone, just a product of a frightened child's imagination. But sometimes, late at night, I'll drop something and have to reach under my bed. My heart pounds as my fingers search the darkness, remembering the cold, slick touch of its skin. And sometimes, just sometimes, when I'm almost asleep, I'll hear it. That wet, dragging sound. That scraping onto the wood. And I wonder, did I ever really escape? Some nightmares never leave you. Some monsters never die. If you ever feel a cold hand on your ankle or hear breathing from beneath your bed, don't look. Don't let it know you're afraid. Because once you see it, it will never stop looking for you. Have you ever heard something under your bed? What did you think of this creepy story? Let us know in the comments. This has been Truth is Terror. Good luck sleeping tonight.